and they're all wearing this silvery armor. And then they go around and they stab all of the rest of the Justice League with 10th metal, and then all of a sudden they all have 10th metal armor.
Yeah.
And then they fight the Dark Knights, and then Hawkman, Carter Hall, Giant Dragon of the Forge. Carter Hall fights Giant Dragon of the Forge Barbados with a giant hammer, and they never explain how Carter Hall becomes human again. Just all of a sudden he's in a hospital bed.
It really does seem like there should have been something else, because it did seem like everything wrapped up way too quickly.
It almost seemed like they ran into a corner and they were like, how the fuck do we end this with just 6 issues? There's so much, we've set this up for so much more, and they were just like, no, fuck it, we're not continuing this on anymore, you're not getting any more issues, we're cutting it off at 6, you better figure out a way to end it. And then Snyder just had to sum up his story too fast. And
yeah. Now, I will say there are some really good parts in this issue. There's some fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
parts.
throughout the whole series, it's been great. Just the ending seemed very rushed.
The battle with the Batman who laughs, I think for me was the most epic part of the entire book.
Well, I guess we can reveal it since this is the spoiler. The Joker and Batman fight side by side against the Batman who laughs. And that is a cool part. Batman even says this never happened to the Joker.
Well, I loved it when he's like, just pull the fucking... Batman's like, just pull the damn trigger. And the Batman who laughs is like, oh, I'm going to. And Batman's like, I wasn't talking to you. And then there's the Joker behind him and shoots him. And then, they start fighting together, and Batman's like, this never happened. But the Joker's like, you may think you know...
that part's good.
That part was good because the Joker's like, you're fighting as Bruce Wayne, who was infected by me. You're not fighting me. You don't know how to fight me.
Yeah, he's like, you think because you're, he's like, you think you're fighting, you're still Bruce Wayne. You're not me, and you may think you know how I think, but you don't think like me. You could have never predicted I would fight side by side with the Batman.
Yeah. And then what's interesting is Batman leaves. The cave starts crumbling. Like, the cave starts caving in.
Yeah.
Batman leaves, but the Joker is still there over the body of the Batman who laughs. We don't see what happened to the Batman who laughs or the Joker.
So well, we know the Joker's coming back for Tom King put out a preview image the other day. The Joker's going to show up at Batman's wedding, so we know he survives this.
Yeah. But that's interesting. They didn't kill Barbados. He's chained in, like, the dark dimension.
Yeah, they didn't end him. They've got him chained somewhere in the dark somewhere.
Now, here's the other thing that didn't make sense to me. Plastic Man comes out of the egg in Metal. In this final issue of Metal, Plastic Man comes out of the egg.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the Terrifics book, he was in the egg, and then he came out of the egg because he came in contact with the dark multiverse. I'm
gonna guess if you even ask that to whoever at DC, they'd say multiverse.
Probably
happened in another timeline. Yeah, because you're right. He comes back, and Plastic Man even says at the end, "I hope I don't come back and transform into a giant egg again."
Yeah, but that's the issue with when you have a book that's supposed to take place after your event come out before the event is over.
Yeah, and it didn't make sense because that's not how the event ended. Even the guy writing the Terrifics had no idea that they were going to actually unleash Plastic Man in Metal. So
and that's
he had him in the egg.
Jeff Lemire writing the Terrifics. Jeff Lemire and Ivan Reis are writing the Terrifics.
Which is really good, man. That is a throwback to like 70s Marvel DC type storytelling. That is a real throwback book, and I really like it a lot.
And we're going to get to that second issue here in a little
bit.
Pick
of the week. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to say it now.
But then they have that whole epilogue in Metal. It's like it ended, and then there was this whole long epilogue, which kind of sets up this new age of DC heroes that they've been coming out with, and then they tease the Hall of Justice.
Well, they broke the rock, they broke the wall, and they broke past the wall, and there's a whole other whole other like whatever behind it. So they they don't know what's out there. Even Bruce Wayne says we have no idea what could be coming and what's out there. And he kind of pulls a Tony Stark at the end of this and says we have to get bigger, basically, to the Justice League.
And that's what's going to lead into Scott Snyder's, I think his Justice League that's going to come out, this No Justice or whatever, that's going to be coming out. But this is where I have, because remember a while ago when Metal came out and then Doomsday Clock was coming out, they said it was all, like even Tom King said like it was all connected.
Yeah.
We know that Metal takes place in Rebirth, or during the time of Rebirth.
Yeah.
But breaking down the wall that they're talking about, could that have also been what was allowed like Ozymandias and all of them to come to this to the DC universe for Doomsday Clock?
There's it's so hard to say because there's so many weird parallels in DC that end up going nowhere.
Yeah.
That you were expect like the Detective Chimp thing. I fully expected a complete musical.
After Wild Hunt, that issue Wild Hunt, I thought Detective Chimp and the chimp world was going to play a much bigger role than they did in the
first basically there's one panel, maybe two, in the last issue of Metal of Detective Chimp, and Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman, like front and center. Well, where did he come from?
Yeah, it does. Like there's some things that are still kind of like I feel we're not wrapped up.
Yeah, I don't think, good. And maybe he'll get another one shot after this or something to explain some of it.
Hopefully.
But I hope there's something, because that seemed like it was great up until they all did the Care Bear stare at the end, and then everything was fine again.
Yeah.
It was like that is the biggest cop out of an ending.
And Scott, we love you, but it was basically like they held hands, and it was like the Care Bear movie too. It was like we care. We care, and
go Carter Hall!
Yay, Carter Hall! But
the Hawkman will fly again.
But they set up that the Hawkman's coming back. There's something with Sandman going on because like one of the books is missing.
Yeah. Well, there's a new Sandman series coming out pretty soon.
I think so. So there's quite. With so much build up, I feel that the ending. There was a letdown with the ending. There should have been a double-sized issue. It should have been like a real double-sized issue, that way you could get everything in. And I'm not going to put that on Scott.
Should have been a 35-pager at least, or
I don't
more.
I don't put that on Scott. I don't know. Maybe it's the editors. They're like, you can only have this many. But
I'm thinking he got rushed. I'm thinking it was going to take longer, and I'm thinking DC probably went to him and said, "Look, we got it. We got Terrifics coming out. We're trying to progress this new universe thing, and we got to get this book out." And I have a feeling somebody went to town editing some shit because there's some stuff missing.
They still they're putting out these New Age of DC heroes, but there's still a few that they have. Like I haven't seen Brimstone yet. Did I miss that one? I haven't seen Brimstone yet. There's one or two, or the Immortal Men haven't. That book hasn't come out yet.
They previewed the Immortal Men in a couple of books, but they have. I don't think the first issue's been out yet.
Yeah, so they've come out with a few of them, but not.
The Immortal Men looks cool, by the way. I think
that one does look cool. Now the Terrifics. Yes, we'll discuss the elephant in the room. Yes, this is like Fantastic Four, and that was what a lot of people had an issue with the first issue. They're like, oh, this is just DC copying Fantastic Four.
Somebody's got to. Marvel's dragging their ass with the 2-in-1s. I finally bought those issues that I was missing, but I haven't read them yet.
I haven't read them yet. I bought them. I had to buy a second printing of issue 2 because I missed it. They missed it when it came out. But there are similarities because you have an intangible girl, you have a stretchy guy.
Couple stretchy guys, technically. Metamorpho can stretch.
Yeah, Metamorpho can stretch. But
got the really smart guy in Mr. Terrific, which is kind of like Reed Richards in a way. But yeah, I dig it, man. I think it's it's some real retro style. Like there's one particular scene I love it when Plastic Man and Metamorpho when they have to pull that antenna thing out.
Yeah.
Of the dead god world thing that they're on. And when they pull it out, where they're all kind of bickering and fighting as they're pulling it out, I mean, that just seemed like a total Ben Grimm, Johnny Storm moment from like an
Yeah.
old Fantastic Four comic.
I mean,
And man, I loved it. It's my pick of the week for sure this week.
I love it because, first of all, it's nice to have Plastic Man back in the DC universe, and he's
I love him because he's wacky too. He's like he used to be.
Yeah, he's wacky, he's crazy. You get a little bit more backstory on this girl who was stuck in the dark multiverse. And and at the end, finding out that because of their proximity to the dark multiverse, somehow they cannot be apart. They have to be together.
Stuff explodes if well, she tried in twofold. She can become tangible again, but when she becomes tangible, everything around her starts to explode, and so she had to go intangible again. It was like the first time she'd been actually a tangible person in like decades. But when she tried it, she almost blew up the world. So she had to go intangible again. And then Mr. Terrific goes to go to his lab to find out why if she becomes tangible. And once he tries to leave and gets far away, then everything starts blowing up again. So he has to come back, and now they're all kind of shackled together by some kind of energy from the dark multiverse.
And I just love the line when Mr. Terrific goes to leave. There's like, man, he's a dick.
Yeah, what a dick. I like Metamorpho. Metamorpho's pretty cool. He's like, he's very Ben Grimm. That's another comparison that can be made. Is Metamorpho's character is very much like a Ben Grimm. He's very plain spoken. He's more of just a regular guy. You got Plastic Man, who's kind of a lunatic, but he's kind of the Johnny Storm kind of character, kind of immature and smart mouth. Then you got the intangible. I can't even remember what the intangible girl's name is, but she's kind of like your Sue, and you got Mr. Terrific, who's kind of like Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And I love it. And the dark multiverse kind of reminds me of like the microverse or like the negative zone.
And you have I mean, just the artwork with like you have this gigantic dead god and them trying to escape.
That was cool. Yeah, I love that. I love the angles they got on Plastic Man. Like when it starts to wake up and Plastic Man's like stretched way up, like looking down at it, and you can see the different, like the weird angles that they draw Plastic Man from. Like his point of view is pretty cool.
It's a great issue. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I would say for me it is the pick of the week. It's just of all the ones they've come out with so far, Silencer, Sideways, Damage, and this one.
And I like because it's old school, like it's like old school second tier DC characters, like given their own title and given a chance to shine. And it's like it's cool. It's not a brand new character like Damage or whatever, but it's a brand new team and using old school characters, and it's just cool, man. I highly recommend getting the Terrifics if you're not reading it.
Now, Doomsday Clock was interesting this week.
Yeah, just basically it's just the origin of where the new Rorschach comes from.
Yeah, and that's had my head spinning. It really had my head spinning. It was like trying to wrap my head around all of that.
It really calls back to stuff from Watchmen.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff from Watchmen that wasn't too elaborate. It's like the aftermath of Watchmen. Like what actually happened after the squid monster attack or whatever, the alien squid monster attack and all that. It's like you get a lot of the news reports and what's happening in the world. Apparently Robert Redford is the president. And it's just really weird and kind of running down the aftermath of Watchmen, which it's kind of like the epilogue to Watchmen we didn't get. And but it's kind of cool that the new Rorschach is the son of Rorschach's prison psychiatrist.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they talk like again before he became Rorschach, he was also in a mental institution after everything that happened with the squid attack and everything. Yeah. And he meets Mothman, who was one of the Minutemen. One of the original Watchmen.
Yeah, that's weird. And he's up on the roof naked and he flies away.
and they say he just kept doing it over and over and over again. Like he would fly away, he'd get contraband for him, and he would get caught again and come back.
Yeah.
And then, finding out that he's in Arkham. It kind of intercuts. It intercuts with him in the Asylum, in the Watchmen universe, to him being in Arkham. And Arkham, they showed like Mr. Freeze like once or twice.
Yeah, he's like Mr. Freeze is in his cell, like looking out or something. He's got like a freeze capsule or something. He's messing up.
And he keeps getting interviewed by this doctor that we find out is actually